Rishi, a 6-year-old boy who is visually impaired. Do you know who a visually impaired person is? He or she is a person who cannot see. But Rishi loves to read storybooks and has a large collection of books in his room. How is that possible? It is possible through something we call Braille. It is a system by which people can read by touching. Rishi can read books by touching them as they are written in Braille. When he was younger, he would find it difficult to do things on his own. His parents knew that not being able to see was tough. They did their best to help Rishi. His parents told him the key to happiness is to love yourself. Instead of doing things for him, they encouraged him to do things on his own. They brought him a stick that helped him find his way without relying on others. They taught him to use Braille too. Slow and steadily, Rishi grew more confident. If children made fun of him, he would tell them that he could do everything despite not having sight. That was a superpower that only he had. This made them feel ashamed. We must value what we have and never make fun of others. We must be kind towards everyone. Fun with power.
Open wide, one little head goes side to side. 10 little fingers, 10 little toes, 2 little eyes and 1 little nose, 2 little cheeks that shine so bright, 2 little lips to kiss mom goodnight.
Well done.
The universe. All the galaxies, the space within and between them, and the energy that exists are included in the universe.
Scientists believe that the universe was born after a huge explosion called the Big Bang. A long time later, stars, planets, and other bodies were formed. It is believed that the Big Bang was the very beginning of the universe.
The entire universe was not created at once. It evolved with time. Therefore, time is also considered as a component of the universe. Thus, the concept of universe is all-inclusive. The universe has no center, nor does it have edges. Scientists believe that the universe came into existence about 1300 crore years ago. Since then, it has been continuously expanding and evolving. Galaxy. The space is boundless, and there exists countless clusters of stars in the space. These clusters are formed due to the attractions between the stars. Such clusters bulge in the center and taper off towards the periphery. Such a cluster is called a galaxy. Our solar system belongs to the galaxy called the Milky Way. However, ours is neither the only galaxy in space, nor is it the biggest. Scientists believe that there are as many as 1,000 crore galaxies. Imagine how vast the spread of these celestial bodies is. The Milky Way. Like our solar system, other stars in the sky also have their own planetary systems. Such a group of countless stars and their planets is called a galaxy. Our solar system is a part of a galaxy called the Milky Way. All the stars that we see on a clear night are part of the Milky Way.
The heavenly bodies that twinkle are known as stars. Their brightness keeps fluctuating. Stars have their own light and heat. All stars are self-illuminated. Planets. The heavenly bodies that do not twinkle are known as planets. Planets do not have their own light. They receive light from the stars. Various planets revolve around particular stars. We do know that the innumerable heavenly bodies seen in the sky are far away from us. Likewise, we also know that the moon and the sun are comparatively nearer to the earth. The sun, the moon, the stars, and the planets are generally round in shape. The spheres in the sky are called astronomic bodies. All the matters in the sky are known as heavenly things. The science that studies these heavenly things, the sun, the moon, the stars, is known as astronomy. And the scientists who study this science are known as astronomers or astrophysicists. The sun. The sun is a bright, luminous star. As compared to other stars, the sun is nearer to us. Hence, it appears big and bright. The sun is made up of extremely hot gases. It is at the center of the solar system. The sun is known as the head of the solar system. Due to its brightness during the day, we cannot see the other heavenly bodies.
Constellations. Have you ever made patterns from small beads or stones? A constellation is a group of visible stars that form a pattern when viewed from the earth. The pattern they form may take the shape of an animal, a man, a woman, or an object. One such constellation is the Orion. It takes the shape of a hunter. We can see many of these constellations on a clear night.
Planets. There are 8 planets in the solar system. They are Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. The planets are generally spherical. They revolve around the sun in their own paths. Their paths are called orbits. Every planet has a particular period of time to revolve around the sun. Characteristics of planets. Among all the planets, Mercury is nearest to the sun. It is also the smallest planet. Venus is the brightest planet. Venus is the only planet that rotates itself from east to west. All other planets rotate themselves from west to east. Therefore, on Venus, the sun rises in the west and sets in the east. We live on planet Earth. It is the only planet having life on it. There is no evidence of any form of life in other planets. Life on Earth is possible because of a favorable atmosphere and the presence of water on the planet. Mars comes after the Earth in the solar system. It is reddish in color. It is easily visible in the sky. Jupiter is the biggest planet in the sky. The second biggest is Saturn. Saturn has 3 rings around it. These rings are easily seen through a telescope. Uranus is very far away from the Sun. It is greenish-blue in color. The farthest planet from the Sun is Neptune. It is blue in color. Satellites. Certain heavenly bodies in the solar system do not revolve around the Sun. Instead, they revolve around specific planets. These heavenly bodies are called the satellites of those respective planets. Most of the planets in the solar system have satellites. For example, the Moon is the satellite of the Earth. It revolves around the Earth, which is a planet. Planets revolve around the Sun along with their satellites.
The Sun, which is a star, and the planets revolving around the Sun together are known as the solar system. Apart from the Earth, Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and few other heavenly bodies like satellites, asteroids, dwarf planets, comets, meteors revolving round the Sun are a part of the solar system. Our Earth is one amongst these planets. Earth receives its light from the Sun, and it revolves around the Sun. This movement of the Earth around the Sun is known as the revolution of the Earth. Each planet rotates around the Sun on a specific path. The path is known as the orbit of that particular planet. All the members of the solar system receive heat and light from the Sun. Life on Earth exists because of the Sun. If there was no Sun, then there wouldn't have been any life on Earth.
The Sun. We have seen earlier that the Sun is a bright star. Extremely hot gases make up the Sun. It is at the center of the solar system. It is often described as the head of the solar system. All the members of the solar system get heat and light from the Sun. It is because of the Sun that there is life on Earth. If there is no Sun, there would be no life on Earth.
Well done. Very good. Very good. Outstanding.
Emperor Ashoka, change of heart. Ashoka, 273 BCE to 232 BCE, considered to be one of India's greatest emperors, expanded the Mauryan Empire and reigned over almost the entire Indian subcontinent, stretching from the present-day Afghanistan in the west to Bangladesh in the east, except some parts of South India. At a very young age, he excelled in academics and weaponry. Even though he was not the eldest son, his talent made him eligible to be the next king. This made all his brothers very jealous. We must do something to get Ashoka out of the way, or he will be made the next king. Let's ask father to send him to Takshila on a war. My son, go to Takshila at once and crush the rebellion there. Ashoka went to Takshila with his army. There Ashoka won the heart of the people without a single fight. This made Bindusara really happy, and Sushima, the elder brother, more insecure. Later on, when Bindusara was in his deathbed, Sushima convinced him to make him his successor. Father, you're really sick. Please name me your successor so that I can carry your legacy forward and take care of the kingdom. You have my blessing, son. On the other hand, the ministers who were in support of Ashoka requested him to assume the throne. Prince Ashoka, we all think you are more capable to become the king than your brothers. So we want you to assume the throne. It will be my honor. Ashoka attacked Patliputra, defeated and killed all his brothers. He then became the king. He expanded his empire for almost 8 years. Kalinga was one of the powerful kingdoms during Ashoka's time. It controlled land and sea routes to South and Southeast Asia. Ambitious Ashoka intended to capture Kalinga. He marched to Kalinga with his enormous army. The king and people of Kalinga offered a stiff resistance, but they suffered a crushing defeat. More than 1 lakh people were killed. and 1.5 lakh others were captured. He had won a decisive victory. Oh God, what have I done? So many people have lost their lives because of me. I will never let this happen again. However, the massive loss of life and haunting sight of countless women and children weeping over the dead moved him deeply. He was filled with remorse. To ensure that this kind of violence doesn't happen again, Ashoka turned to Buddhism for redemption. He also ensured that everyone in his kingdom followed the same. King Ashoka, from now on you will conquer people with love, peace, and non-violence. From this day, I am going to follow the path of non-violence and protect everyone in my kingdom. I believe that winning people over through Dhamma is much better than conquering them through force. For everyone's well-being, Ashoka propagated his ideas of Buddhism across the empire. To ensure that everyone followed the rules, Dhamma Mahamatas were appointed, who took care of the implementation of the rules. Go, Mahamata, teach the people of my kingdom to live peacefully without any violence. Our Emperor, Ashoka the Great, has a message for you all. Ashoka got Buddha's teachings and principles of Dhamma inscribed on rocks and pillars as edicts. Ashoka referred to himself as Devanam Priya, beloved of the gods, and Priyadasi, one who regards others with kindness. He spent rest of the years as the king devoted to the welfare of the subjects. He built roads, planted trees, dug wells, and built rest houses and hospitals. He also sent missionaries to different countries like Syria, Egypt, Greece, and Sri Lanka. His ultimate goal was to make the world a better place for the future generations to live in. Alexander the Great in India. During the Nanda rule over Magadha, Alexander III of Macedon, Alexander the Great, launched a military campaign in the northeastern part of the Indian subcontinent. He entered Gandhara and reached up to the Beas River in Punjab, defeating many Indian rulers on the way. Gandhara was a Mahajanapada and comprised parts of the present-day Pakistan and Afghanistan.
Below average. Average. Outstanding. Very good. Very good. Outstanding.
The parliamentary system is a system of governance. The legislature of the central government is known as the parliament. It consists of the President, Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. The members of the Lok Sabha are directly elected by the people, and the maximum strength of the Lok Sabha is 552. Currently, the House has 545 seats, which is made up by the election of up to 543 elected members and at a maximum 2 nominated members of the Anglo-Indian community by the President of India. Elections to the Lok Sabha are held at regular intervals. All the political parties participate in these elections, and the party which gets a 2/3 majority forms the government. When no party gets a majority, some parties come together to form a majority and form a government which is known as a coalition government.
Excellent! Outstanding!
Do you know? We find land on some part of the Earth's surface, while water on other. There is an envelope of air around the Earth. Living things exist on land, water and air. The sun is responsible for many natural events occurring on the Earth. The land, water, air and life on Earth represent the lithosphere, the hydrosphere, the atmosphere and the biosphere. The biosphere is seen in all the 3 spheres. The water from land evaporates to form clouds, and this water again reaches the land through rain. This is called as the water cycle. All living things get water because of the water cycle. The water from reservoirs like river, lake, sea is continuously being converted into water vapor. The heat of the sun as well as the wind help to change water into water vapor. The heat also warms up the air. As the air becomes warm, it becomes lighter. The water vapor mixes with the air and rises up where it starts cooling down. The air contains smoke and dust particles. When water vapor cools on these dust particles, it forms tiny droplets of water. These tiny droplets come together to form clouds. The clouds move along with the air. As the clouds rise higher, more moisture condenses and collects on the tiny droplets, forming larger droplets. Sometimes the clouds rise very high and the water droplets freeze to form ice crystals. Ice crystals grow bigger, become heavier and start falling down. As they fall, they melt to form water droplets. When water droplets become large and heavy, they fall on the earth as rain. There is one more important cycle without which it is impossible for us to survive. Let us learn more about it.
Bzzz. I love the taste of nectar. I'll drink some more. It's so sweet. Croak, croak. Ah, a bee out there on the flower. It is drinking nectar happily. I will easily catch it with my long, sticky tongue and have a good meal for my lunch. Hiss. Hiss. Wow, that frog seems to be very happy catching the bee. It doesn't know how tasty a meal it will make for me. Wait, dear frog, wait. I'm going to gulp you soon. A nice garden to find some food. Hey, what's that snake doing? Oh, it is happily gulping the frog. A good meal for me. There I go and swoop down to pick it up quickly, or it will slither into its hole. Did you see how different animals are connected to each other in a chain, eating one another? The bee sucks the nectar from the flower. The frog eats the bee. The snake eats the frog. And the peacock eats the snake. This is known as a food chain. Eating and being eaten forms the food chain in nature. Do you know what will happen if one of these animals gets killed more than the other? The chain of food in the nature will break.